Hi everybody, my name is Joe Hartford,
Colin Scott.
and this is Data Security Over Coffee at Reclamier. You're aware that I'm not accompanied by my normal partner, Angie Keating, but rather Colin Scott, for a number of different reasons. There are some things that I wanted to be able to share with you, and also Colin wants to share as well. But first and foremost, I want to wish Colin an early happy birthday. That's why he's in this garb.
Thank you. This is not my normal attire. But thank you, Rachel, and everybody for the surprise today.
And also celebrating Fat Tuesday as we get ready to go into the Lenten season. March 8th is Angie's birthday, so we celebrated that as well. Trying to lighten things up at Reclamier because obviously, as we talk about data security concerns and things that go on with our clients, I think you can often get really wrapped up and get really serious, and it's important to lighten it up every once in a while and try to enjoy yourselves at work. So there are a few different things we just want to touch on today, share with you. One of which I think is very exciting. I've been planning now for the last 3 years to be able to do a presentation with two really phenomenal individuals. One is Ray Barry, who's a very good friend of mine, and then of course Colin Scott. Colin and I have worked together for almost 8 years here at Reclamier, and we're going to be doing a presentation on sales skills at the National Association for Information Destruction Conference in March out in Vegas. So I'm looking forward to being able to hang out and do that. We've got some interesting surprises for those that decide to participate in our two sessions. So we won't let any cats out of the bag, but definitely for those of you in need, hopefully you can be at the session.
And where is that session going to take place, Joe?
That's going to be at the Tropicana in Vegas.
Sounds good.
It's going to be a great time. Absolutely.
Boy, that's going to be a tough conference to go to.
I know, but you have to because it's your job. That's just one of the things that you got to do. So we've made some transitions. We've talked about it over the last couple of data security over coffees, but one of the things that I wanted to ask Colin about was, if he could share with you when we talk about a managed security service provider, what is that? So when you explain that to your client, when you explain it to somebody who may be very new to Reclamier and hasn't worked with us in the past, what does it mean when Reclamier says we offer managed security services?
Sure. So for the last many years, we've been talking about the data destruction, the end of life, compliance. And I think it's been a really good transition into what the MSSP model is, because it's still a proactive approach to data security consulting. But what we're doing is we're not trying to say, hey, we're going to come in and take over your entire network. This is something that we're doing that's going to be complementary to our clients. A lot of our clients have something in place right now that they have set up to be able to, put policies in place and have, training for, malware practice and phishing attacks. But what a lot of our clients don't have the time to do is to have somebody to really analyze that data that they're collecting.
Right.
And that's where I think Reclamier as a MSSP, from a managed security service provider, can really step in. We can be that virtual CIO. We can give you that 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days, a year, constant automated protection, ticketing system. I think that a lot of our clients will be really excited to learn about this because a lot of them we're setting up vulnerability scans with first, so we can really get a good idea of what their network looks like, and then build up a stack that is compliant to their regulations.
So, obviously people have probably heard about a managed service provider. Now we're talking about a managed security service provider. So why should people even care? Like, what's the big deal, or what's the value for someone to even think about saying, hey, you know what, Colin, I'd like to have that conversation with you because of whatever reason. Why should they care?
Well, I think the most important thing that I have noticed with our clients over the last few months has really been the awareness from a proactive standpoint. And I think we've talked about it in the past, from our forensic standpoint. A lot of our projects come from people whose hair are on fire. Sunday they're getting a call, oh my God, we've been hacked.
Right.
Something like that. And, we've been here to support those people. But over the last few months, I've seen a major trend in the proactive standpoint where people are finally saying, hey, we understand these threats. The amount of data breaches continue to rise every single year, especially in healthcare, which is one of our largest verticals, and from HIPAA compliance standpoint. And I think people are really finally now taking the time to understand that this is important. Budget is now starting to include it, and they want to make sure that they have an expert company as their third party support.
So, as a follow-up to that, then, if people are finally getting the budget dollars to afford it, and they want to be more proactive, then why do you think people don't simply go out and hire their own security person who's going to be their full-time employee, but rather they would turn around and say, hey, Colin, I'd like to have a conversation with you about how Reclamere can support us in security?
I think you're going to save a lot of money by hiring Reclamere to do this. We've gone out and seen what a CIO or a IT security analyst makes on a yearly basis, and it's much more than just a salary. They need the technology, they need the support, the equipment, to be able to travel, etc. I think when you look at breaking it down over a month by month project to see really customize what is the specific needs for this customer. Do they need consulting from a virtual CIO standpoint to write the policies, procedures, or maybe it's remediation, or do they actually need an actual vulnerability scan that needs to be done, once a quarter, to complete endpoint detection from 24 hours, 7 days a week? I think what this allows us to do is really customize it for each customer, set up a 1 month, upfront payment cost,
sure,
rather than hiring a brand new person, having that expertise. And I think the other thing that I'm excited about is a lot of our clients we've worked with have already done a lot of risk assessment type policy procedure work with Reclamere. So they're familiar with us, or this is our 16th year, and they know who we are, and now they've already built that level of comfortability with us.
Sure.
So now they should be able to go out there and say, hey, we have a trusted partner. Let's at least listen to how we think this could help our environment.
Great, it makes a lot of sense. So one of the things that I promised my wife Karen that I would do is explain to her this whole idea of a brand new rollout of a logo and branding. She always kids around with me and says, "Oh my gosh, it's difficult to spell Reclamere or understand Reclamere, and now you want to do this brand new thing, and it's going to be really difficult." And so you probably have seen, if you've been paying attention to our website and some of our other marketing material, that the Honey Badger logo has been rolled out for Reclamere data security experts. And the idea, quite frankly, came from Angie. She had actually sent me a YouTube video, which we watched, and it's absolutely hysterical. But I guess from your perspective, as somebody who, you have a real vested interest in the company. This isn't, I'm assuming now, obviously I know that you tell me the truth, but, it's not just necessarily a job, but it's a career. You're going on 8 years of service. So when you take a look at 8 years and the things that you've watched Reclamere go through and morph and change, and now we're continuing to innovate in the company, when we think about a honey badger and now using a honey badger in our logo, why do you think that that's appropriate? What's the relationship that a honey badger has to Reclamere?
So I'm sure a lot of people have seen the video you're speaking to. I think it was like 81 million views. So the one thing that the honey badger and Reclamere really have in common is that we are relentless. I've now had the privilege of almost 8 years of working with you and our team, and one of the things I love about us is that we're not a huge company. We don't have hundreds and hundreds of employees. I'm one of the important players in our company, but there's nothing that we can't take on. There's no challenge that we haven't said, we're not great at that. We can't help you. I'm sorry. And there's no two projects that are the same either. We have so many clients that continue to come back to us and continue to utilize us for remediation and ongoing support, because they know that we are not going to stop until we have met the final goal. And I think that's really what a honey badger is all about. You talk about getting bit by a snake and you're out for maybe 10 minutes, and then you meet with your team, you come back, and then you're able to complete the job. And they're badass. And long story short, a honey badger is a badass animal. They don't take no. They're relentless. They're going to continue to fight. That's what, from a data security standpoint, that's what Reclamere brings to you as complementary to your current team. We're going to continue to fight for them, and I think it was a no-brainer when we started talking about it.
Well, it's been exciting, and a number of things are going to be happening over the next couple of weeks as we continue to roll out the logo, the story about how we got here, some customer testimonials. We're also going to be changing up data security over coffee a little bit, where we're going to be bringing in Angie and an employee to have a similar conversation about some of the challenges that we see. In closing, from an educational perspective, one of the things that I would say to all of our clients and all the prospects that are out there is that ransomware continues to be one of the number one IT security challenges in the United States today. I don't care if you're in healthcare or financial services or where you may be. You could be a document destruction company, a storage company. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that all of you have an incredible amount of data that's worth a great deal of money. And so those bad guys that are out there are looking to get that. And ransomware is one of the most insidious ways to get into a network, to be able to lock data down literally and encrypt it, and then sell you back that information. So if you don't have a great backup solution, you better get a great backup solution. And if you do have a great backup solution, you better make sure that you test your backup solution so you can in fact use it just in case you have a case where ransomware takes over in the environment. So in parting, I would just simply share that with you. I think it's really helpful. And the reality is that what you want to do is be prepared and really pay attention to what's coming in and out of your network. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll continue to make announcements. DSOC is going to change a little bit. Colin and I will be at the NAID conference, and I hope you take the opportunity to wish him a happy birthday. So happy birthday, Colin Scott.
Thank you, my friend.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.